Today's topic is about why some do not understand taxation debate. Many American voters do not understand the taxation debate around election time. They hear stories of businesses and rich folks getting big tax breaks and yet do not fully understand, although at first glance they feel that is somewhat unfair. What is very unfortunate is that many politicians will claim that only the rich get the tax breaks. But in reality, what is happening is that government is rewarding people who have wealth to spend their money in a certain way to receive a tax break. For instance, if they buy a vehicle for business or an airplane, they get a tax break. Why is this good for everyone? Because if a rich person who owns a business buys an airplane or an automobile, then someone gets to have a job in Wichita, Kansas, or Detroit, or Ohio, or Alabama. The people who work in those factories need that job to feed their families and maintain their standard of living and quality of life. It's unfortunate that more people don't understand the taxation debate, and even more unfortunate that people who do understand the taxation debate who are running for office misrepresent its intentions. Many times Democrats will complain that the tax cuts are too deep and government does not have enough money to give away money to the poor. But in reality, the government wastes most of the money that it gets and very little ever gets to the poor people. It would be better to have a tax cut for the poor people so they could have more money in their pockets to spend for themselves and keep the tax incentives for the rich too. When do poor or middle-class people spend the money, they would buy things, and that too would provide more jobs for Americans. If the government gets all of the money, they just waste it on ridiculous social programs and pet projects. Often the social programs make people weak, and this should be well understood by the Christian quote, "Don't give a man a fish, teach them to fish." It is just too bad that people do not understand the taxation debate. If they raise our taxes, how does that help us? The Democrats want to raise taxes, and that would be a disaster for our economy. That just means we all have to pay more money to a government that is going to waste it. And so I ask the question, why would anyone want to do that? Please consider all this in 2023.